Hello, my name is Glenn Dyer, and you are watching a Dyer-Situation. Today, we're seeing Batman v Superman done punching each other. You excited?
Not particularly, actually. I mean, I liked the Man of Steel one, you know, but this movie, I don't know. It's like it's too big to succeed.
Yeah.
There's like so much hype around it, and there's all this stuff, and then people are talking everything about it. I don't know how it could possibly work.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like it has the hype of the Avengers almost, but I don't see how it could possibly live up to it.
Yeah.
I mean, already, as of right now, like, we're filming this on a Friday, there's like my YouTube subscription box is just filled with a bunch of random people putting out reviews of it. So it's a big deal. But if I'm being honest, there's like 6 superhero films coming out this year. This is the one I'm the least excited for.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't particularly like Man of Steel. I can see the pros and cons of it. I've seen differing reviews, but I don't know. Personally, I felt the pacing was off, and I felt that it wasn't directed particularly well. But whatever. I'm less extreme about it as I was back then. Right now, it's kind of dissolved into apathy.
Yeah.
So that's kind of carrying over into this. I really don't care what happens. So, I don't know.
You know, I think whatever Man of Steel's flaws it had, I think it's just going to be magnified under this.
Probably. I mean, in this one, apparently they're shoving in Wonder Woman and maybe a few other superheroes because they're wanting this to be Justice League, but not really Justice League. There's going to be a Justice League later, I guess, if this works.
Yeah.
And I don't know. This seems like a string of bad decisions that might come crashing into something at one point. But I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, personally, I'm just thinking that it's gonna wear on me. I don't think it's gonna be like Amazing Spider-Man 2 wearing on me, but it's probably gonna wear on me.
At best, I think it'll just be mediocre.
Yeah, probably. I really don't have high hopes at all. So, who do you think will win?
No one.
Yeah, I'm thinking they're gonna do a Freddy versus Jason on our ass or something. Or even worse, partway through the movie, they're gonna start fighting somebody else, and then work together as a team, like the Avengers.
Yeah.
And then take him down. And it's not really gonna be Batman v Superman. At least not the entire time.
No.
Because if you think about it, Superman wins. All the time. Although I'm not going to hold the movie to that, because
no, it's their movie.
Yeah,
their
like,
Superman.
If we're comparing comics, then yeah, Superman can lobotomize people with his laser vision. There's no competition. But
yeah.
As for movie, well, he can take on people of his own species. He can punch really hard. We don't really know the extent of his powers. Maybe some guy in an Iron Man suit can take him down. I don't know. So I'm not going to judge it for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
But, boy, it's really going to have to work hard.
Yeah, and introducing all these characters.
Yeah.
Setting them up. It's unbelievable.
It's over 2 hours long, so
God.
They're definitely taking their sweet time.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's Dawn of After. That was terrible.
I know.
Okay. Let's try to handle this like reasonable adults. Okay.
Yeah.
So, after a admittedly adequate montage featuring Batman's backstory, that's how it started, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. After, it was alright. Then...
It started alright.
And immediately after that, I was confused, and then after a long time of confusion, bored. So basically, it cuts to, during Zod fighting Superman in, Metropolis, and all the buildings are coming down and stuff, and, and Bruce Wayne is there, he just landed.
Yeah.
And he, calls his friend in the Wayne building, and he's like, "You gotta get out of the building." And he looks over, he's like, "Oh yeah, aliens are fighting. I didn't notice." And then they start evacuating. So immediately from that, you're confused, and you're wondering what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
And then, he's driving across town, and we don't know why. He told them to evacuate, what does he expect to do? And then, but he manages to save some dude, which, I'm guessing, okay, maybe it's to create a differential between Superman and Batman, right? Because Superman was just fighting him, and all these people were dying, and Batman managed to save someone. Maybe that was it? No, it was because he was the character later in the movie that he saved. So, kind of ruined that point. But he also saved this little girl who was in the middle of the rubble for no reason.
Yeah. Just
staring into space, so I don't...
Who knows? Well, it is Metropolis.
I guess.
It's still weird, but I guess I could see a little bit of that happening. Then what happened?
Well, I'm just giving that the backstory, because just to give you the idea that from the get-go, this is not a very good movie.
No.
It is, in my opinion, this is not even the same league of Man of Steel. I have my issues with Man of Steel, but there are sidelines. There was people who kind of thought it was good within our own group. You thought it was good.
I thought it was good, but this is not Man of Steel.
No. Man of Steel... You know what? This is reminding me, the more I think about it, of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Ironically, because I mentioned it in the before part. I mean, The Amazing Spider-Man 1 got mixed opinions. Some people thought it was good. Me. Some people thought it was bad. Other people. But overall, it was pretty coherent. It set the stage for a sequel. It did everything it was supposed to.
Yeah.
And then its sequel fucked everything up. Was very poorly written. Seemed more interested in introducing characters than, furthering plot or solidifying characters. Yeah, pretty much. It just...
I see your point. Even though I myself liked Amazing Spider-Man 2, I'd say this is more like a hyperbole of that. Where it's everything else was taken to the extreme. For me, everything was fine for that movie. But this, just kind of brought it up.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm even seeing certain things, I believe when Noah Antweiler talked about Amazing Spider-Man 2, he pointed out, that all of the sudden, we, during that one scene where he's confronting Green Goblin kid, what's his name?
Yeah, I know you're.
Yeah, he's confronting him, and suddenly he works at the Daily Planet. It's just dropped in a line, even though that wasn't his character as established in the other movie or anything at all. And this movie's kind of the same. Spoilers, it's in all the posters. Wonder Woman's in this movie. And we don't get any backstory for her, just throwaway lines of, "Oh yes, I've been doing this for hundreds of years, I've met aliens."
Okay, but they didn't establish this all before.
No, we're just told this. It's like the Phantom Menace, we're just told things.
Yeah.
And then there's big goofy action scenes that go on for way too long, and I eventually forget why they're doing it, and then I kind of remember, and then I get bored. Okay, I don't know. And yeah, I do think, at least with Man of Steel, I thought the writing was alright. And this, it was atrocious.
Yeah, it was like he was trying to be 17 different things and failing at everything.
I found some lines to be almost George Lucas-esque, I don't think I can recall any word for word, but certain things that Batman would say to Superman, "I bet your mother and father told you that you were special," or something.
It's my parents started a gutter. Okay?
Who talks like that?
No one.
And that's another issue I have. This, is that people in this movie, it seems that their only motivation for doing anything is that they're insane.
Yeah.
Okay? You know, I guess you might be able to make that argument for Zod in the first movie, but I will say that Zod, he did have reasoning. He was trying to resurrect his people, and he didn't care about humans.
Yeah.
And he was in a position of a lot of power. He can do all that stuff. And even if he was just a loony, that's one character. I don't mind. For this, Lex Luthor,
He's clearly insane.
he's very insane. Batman,
Also insane.
yeah, insane. Who else? Pretty much all of the villain characters. Well, Wonder Woman we don't even know.
Yeah, she wasn't even a character. She was just a
thing.
a thing.
Oh, and by the way, when she was first introduced, I don't know if you thought that. I thought she was Catwoman.
Really?
Yeah, like she came in.
Probably because I've seen more trailers than you did. I was like, yeah, that's her, all right, because they very clearly showed that was her in the trailers. Fuck trailers, by the way.
I don't know. When I haven't seen any trailers, of course, and I just walk in and I see that okay, so Batman is like infiltrating LexCorp to do something, and he's and so he's basically hooked up something to his system to record all his data.
Yeah.
And then we see like that this lady has taken it, and she reminds, especially in the dress she was wearing, she reminded me a lot of Catwoman in that last movie.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, and then she said like, "Oh yeah, I got into your car, I put it back in the glove box or something." And the way they were talking back and forth, it sounded a lot like a Catwoman Batman.
You know
thing
what?
to me.
I could see that, but again, because I knew that it was Wonder Woman, I didn't see that at first at all.
Okay.
But yeah, and so not only does she have no character, she has to steal other people's characters.
Yes, and then we're told that she did other things. And there's like this weird subplot where it's like, oh, he has a photo of mine, and I want it back. For
Not
some
even
reason.
a subplot, like a subplot.
Yeah, it meant nothing, and it broke up the flow of the movie. In the context of the movie, this whole thing was meaningless and just kind of broke up stuff. Like like Batman's right in the middle of investigating something of Superman, and it's like he just gets bored and starts looking at something else, and it's like, a pantheon of Wonder Woman and a few other heroes.
I didn't even think they were heroes. I thought they were just like Ukrainian soldiers.
No, I mean like we saw.
Oh yeah, those people. Never mind.
Yeah, like there's a wonder. Like, we see all their little symbols. I don't know where Lex got these symbols from. He just...
Or why they assigned them to them.
Yeah, like, they had Wonder Woman, Cyborg, Aquaman, and the Flash. And you... Honestly, if you did not know anything about the comics, if, say, you would only watch the first movie, I bet you would be confused the entire time.
Like, I was confused that they were even putting them in there. Because they served no purpose other than to set up sequels.
Absolutely none. Like, it was like Age of Ultron to the nth degree. It was unbelievably terrible.
Yeah.
Not to mention the fact that they even give us like a quick demonstration, quote unquote, of who these people are.
Well, not even for like two of them.
For like two of them. And one of them was just insulting. I mean, Aquaman. I've been waiting years for Aquaman. Ever since I saw the first trailer for Man of Steel, and like it was underwater, and we were seeing stuff, I was like, is this an Aquaman movie? It was Man of Steel, of course, but god damn it. Like, you know, he's like the partial inspiration for the Meddler, right? Well,
yeah, I know.
Well, the Meddler's voice. Well, I guess in
a parody of the Meddler's voice.
In a several degrees, like it's Aquaman as interpreted by the Super Friends, as interpreted by Team 4-Star in Dragon Ball Z Abridged, as interpreted by me, and then incorporated into the Time Meddler. Yeah, but still, part of Aquaman is in there.
He's definitely a big part of the heart.
But yeah, in this, he just kind of comes out and he's like, oh.
Then he lazily stabs camera and
lazily stabs the camera and swims away. I'm guessing like it just suddenly dawned on him. Oh god, I'm in the movie. Oh god,
I gotta get away. Run, Khal Drogo.
I'm guessing that's what happened. Like,
yeah.
It was so incompetent.
And like for Cyborg, all they did was show the very basics of an Origins, and that was it.
Yeah.
I don't know why that was recorded and why that was in there, because...
Oh yeah, basically, like, you see, what's Cyborg's real name?
I forgot. I'm not a huge fan.
Well, you see his, like, amputated, torso up on the wall, and there's a scientist guy working on him, and he's like, it's not working, my science is not adequate enough. And then, it was just kind of funny, because in order to keep the pace along, they're, of course, cutting to different clips and stuff. I guess Lex Luthor just edited this into a nice little thing for a montage. It was just kind of funny to me because he was like recording this into a webcam, but there was different angles in there and stuff. Like, it's a very cinematic scientist, aren't you?
Yeah. And like within the context of that whole thing, it's pointless because
it was interrupting the plot.
No. I mean, it was of course it was interrupting the plot, but within there, it's about metahumans, and what's so metahuman about this? It's just an experiment. Why are you showing this? Like, for the Flash and Aquaman, I get it. But for this is barely anything.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So even when
he has, like, a weird hypercube thing, like what they had in the Avengers.
So?
And then he put it onto Cyborg, and he became a cyborg.
For all we know, he's dead. We don't know he's Cyborg. That's just that.
That's if they give you nothing for, like, new people. You have to be in on the comics.
Yeah.
And yet forget several things about the comics simultaneously.
Yes.
It's atrocious.
But enough about that. That was like barely anything.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the characters who are actually in this.
Okay. Let's see, Superman, I don't know, he seemed to come away reasonably unscathed.
I don't know, it seemed a little less like that from Man of Steel.
Yeah.
He's become even less of a character for everyone. He's basically a save Lois Lane machine in this.
Yeah, he did kind of seem that way.
Yeah.
And, I don't even want to get into it, but that actual Batman v Superman battle, and I was right, it didn't go to its full extremes, of course. But,
of course.
Like, that kind of started off kind of bull.
Yeah.
It was just like, Batman, this is a trap by Lex. And the Batman just starts beating him to hell, like he's not even listening.
Again, he's insane, so...
Yeah, and then he says the name of his mother, and he's like, Mama! My dead mother! Like, okay.
My dead mother died.
You have a mother too? I didn't know you had a mother, I'm so sorry. I'm your friend now, okay?
Oh, God.
I'll throw away my kryptonite spear. I'm so sorry.
Man. And then, let's see.
I had a real major problem with some of the casting in this.
I think I know where you're going with this too. I did too.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of controversy over Ben Affleck or whatever. I felt he was fine. I thought he was poorly written.
He was definitely everything was poorly written.
Yeah, I don't think that's really his fault. If I got any character from him, it was mostly stoic and probably insane.
Yeah.
But there's not really much to go on. My biggest problem is, God, I hated Jesse Eisenberg in this.
Oh, yeah. I tolerated him for 2 scenes. I was like, okay, I can see why this is annoying. But I'm okay with this. And then the next scene came. And then I was starting to get really annoyed.
Yeah, it's so weird how they're going for this. Like, he's a jokester, a bit of a sideline. They mentioned the Joker a few times, but of course giving us no context to that, like...
So, unless you know who the Joker is, then you wouldn't get this.
You just have to be a pop culture knower, I guess.
This would be horrible for my friend Jenny, who lives under a rock.
This would be so terrible, yeah. But anyway, he's just... Yeah, he's supposed to be kind of a jokester, but like hiding a dark, kind of more insane side, okay? But he pulls it off so terribly.
Yeah, yeah. It seemed to me like he had some kind of weird social/mental disorder.
Yeah.
Like, he was doing these weird tics, and you're starting to bring up subjects and then immediately dropping them. Like, I don't know if it was him or the direction he was given.
Yeah, it's funny because, like, at least the first few scenes, I thought the idea was to make him endearing, kind of like the Master in Doctor Who, where he's like, he's just supposed to be jokey, and, you know, he's clearly a villain, but he has a sense of humor and stuff. And maybe contrasting against, like, everyone else in this movie who's just like... Ugh.
Like, yeah, because, like, in the animated Superman series, Lex Luthor was a very charismatic person.
Yeah.
So maybe they were going with that, and that's what I thought. But then he just became insane Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah, it was so terrible. Like, admittedly, I wanted him to die, but I don't... But he hadn't done anything evil, so it's not even right.
Yeah.
Until later. And, like... not Jesse Eisenberg's fault, but I just remember, like, there's, like, Batman had a plan. He figured out that Jesse Eisenberg, Lex Luthor, was carrying in some kryptonite. And, like, he figured this out from, like, following a sex slave trade or something?
Sex slave weapon trade, something like that.
Yeah, it was so convoluted. But anyway, like, he found kryptonite and he's like, gonna use this against Superman. I gotta stop him so I can use it against Superman.
Yeah.
Which was just so stupid.
Oh, yeah. What about that fucking dream sequence?
Dream sequences.
Okay. Yes, dream sequences.
Like, this movie is kind of like The Revenant, where it has no character of its own, so it has to try and make weird dream sequences to give it the idea that it might.
Yeah. So mostly from Batman, because he's insane.
Yeah. And there was this one in particular that both of us looked at each other in complete shock.
Yeah.
Do you want to start this off? Like, it's...
Yeah, okay, so suddenly we're in Mad Max Town, where everything's a desert, and there's a whole bunch of buildings around, and there's cars going around, and then we see Batman in a fucking duster. It was like, with like a bandolier of stuff, and it was like, what the fuck has just happened? Did I walk into another movie? By the way, we both want to see Mad Max Batman.
Mad Max Batman! So cool.
And then, and then I think he was trying to intercept something. I think he was trying to get kryptonite.
Trying to get kryptonite, like, I guess they were hinting that Superman had taken over the world or something, so he's trying to get some kryptonite. And then we found out, and then, like, you seen, like, a green glow from a box, but it turned out to be a couple of green lights hooked up to a car battery.
Which was hilarious, but not, like, I don't think it was intended.
No.
And then we see, like, soldiers with Superman emblems on them. Like, what the fuck is happening?
And then they just start shooting everybody, because Superman's a tyrant now.
And then Batman starts shooting people.
Well, whatever. This is his Batman. I don't care.
Okay. Actually, okay, I'm gonna go off on that later. But
in the context of the movie, we aren't told that he is opposed to guns.
I'm gonna go off on that later. Right now, Mad Max Batman.
Okay.
So then, some kind of weird stuff happens, and then we see, like, these insectoid people coming in from the background, and I don't know, they might be aliens. And then we see Bruce Wayne wake up, and then we see this kind of weird time portal, I think. And then, like, some red guy was saying, "You were right about Superman. You were right about everything."
Oh, yeah. I honestly, the costuming was such that I couldn't tell if it was the Flash, like Robin, or somebody else.
Yeah. I thought it might have been the Flash using the cosmic treadmill, but...
Yeah, it was just like, "You were right about everything! Be sure to see me in the sequel!"
Yeah.
Like, it was so terrible.
It had nothing to do with anything.
No, like, he literally woke up and was like, "Oh, that was weird." And then he just carried on with his day.
Nothing to do with anything.
Nothing. Like, Batman just has narcolepsy. He fell asleep while he was waiting for something to
decrypt or something.
Yeah. Like,
that was just so stupid.
I'm just imagining, like, he's just hit the computer like, 1%, 2%, 3%. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Oh, God. But that was so stupid.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay. But actually, since you brought it up, back to Batman. Now, I'm okay with Batman using violence. And I'm okay with Batman breaking people's arms and all that stuff. I'm even okay with him using guns. However, with the caveat being that that no one is actually killed. Now, that's like a huge part of Batman. A huge part of him.
It's a huge part of, like, the classic Batman, I guess.
No, I know, even the more modern ones.
I know, like, in all the modern movies and stuff, but this isn't, like, that Batman. It's a Batman. Like, you have to admit, like, there's... Even in terms of the comics, infinite worlds, infinite possibilities, there's surely a Batman that uses guns and shoots people.
Okay, sure. But
you can argue that it's totally immoral and gives a bad message.
Well, I think it just... I mean, like, even there, it's still... there's some things you can take liberties with superheroes. I am so good with that. But I don't think you should... if you're using the same character, then at least keep the key things part of it. I'm good with adaptations because you're adapting stuff to different mediums and all that stuff. But I'm harping on this a lot, but I think you should keep some of the key parts, unless you're going with a completely new character with a new name.
I don't know, like, in the context of other adaptations, like The Wizard of Oz or something, the characters in that are very different from the movie. Like, very. For instance, the Cowardly Lion wasn't cowardly at all. In fact, he'd probably kick your ass.
Yeah.
But in the movie, like, he's a complete clown. But in the movie, it's fine.
Okay, first of all, that was a good movie.
It was a good movie, I know, but that shouldn't just be an excuse.
I know, it's not okay, but there's a thing, I think it was just going a bit too far. Okay, now, this is still my opinion, okay? And I'm free to open to debate, but we have a whole lot of other stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
So, let's just agree to disagree on this point.
Okay.
And then we'll go into the stuff that we know is terrible.
Alrighty.
So, we talked about Lex Luthor, we talked about Batman, we talked about Superman. Oh, man. Shoot.
I have a problem with the casting of Wonder Woman, too. She doesn't look like Wonder Woman to me.
Oh, no.
She looks like somebody who'd be on the cover of Vogue. Not like a strong Amazonian, you know?
Okay. I could definitely see that, but I'm not as bad with the casting as you are.
Yeah.
But I think the more problem with Wonder Woman is that she wasn't given any character.
No. She was just constantly in like, a few background scenes that interrupted the flow because she has to be in the sequels. And she has to show up at some point. At the end and cause the entire audience to cheer, which... Oh, God, that's terrible.
The audience.
Although they also booed when they found out that there wasn't a end credits scene, so...
So, yeah. That's...
The audience is fickle. There you go.
Oh, God.
I didn't think there would be anyway. Like, I didn't see what else they could add to it.
Yeah, but I had to go on the off chance, and besides, I was really tired from the walking. So... Whatever. But, how about we talk about the end guy that they were fighting?
Okay. Let's see. Let's just make sure, because this will go into spoiler stuff.
Like, big spoiler stuff. So, you already got our opinions.
Let's just make sure we got everything that we can get out of the way without spoilers.
Okay,
first.
so,
let's see.
What else is there?
Let's see. Characters are fucked up. The writing is fucked up.
The cinematography is extremely basic.
Yeah. Like, admittedly, they did seem to drop the shaky cam stuff, which I enjoyed.
Which is good.
Yeah, but I didn't care. The movie was bad in many other ways. So
oh yeah, they were really hammering in that messianic archetype of like saying that Superman is God. A whole lot of shit.
Oh yeah, but actually a demon. But as Jesse Eisenberg says,
like I don't know.
You know, I was kind of wondering if he was actually playing like Lex's clone son or something.
Might have been.
Like, you know, like he did say like his dad was the Lex behind LexCorp.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, oh, maybe his dad is the bald guy, and this is his son. Okay, maybe.
Whatever.
'Cause I remember that in the comics, and I remember finding it kind of funny because he faked his own death and then put his brain into a clone that he claimed was his son and had him inherit all of his money. And he also gave his clone hair because why not?
Yeah.
Like big, luscious hair. It was just funny.
Oh yeah, and the movie seems to have this kind of message that you can't do good at all unless something horrible happens somewhere else.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, this movie seems to want to think that it's deep.
Yeah.
Because it raises questions about who superheroes are, I guess. But it's just handled so poorly.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's like, no matter, there's always something bad happening no matter what happens. Either, Batman is directly causing the badness by trying to do something, or Superman is indirectly causing it because people are trying to go against him.
yeah.
But it's like, I think it's just being too dark for darkness' sake.
Yeah. I don't know. I am fine with Dark, by the way. I like the Christopher Nolan series.
I do too.
Admittedly, I didn't find them very easy to review, but that's not a subject of their quality, just my inexperience at that time. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with darkness in comics. There's several dark comics that I like.
But this is like darkness without any depth.
Yeah, this is so poorly done. I can't harp on enough about the writing. This is absolutely awful.
Like I said, it's trying to be 17 movies, but it sucks at being every single one of them.
Yeah, I really do hope that George Lucas enjoys the extra pocket money he got from writing those lines. Seriously.
Oh god. It's more like a symptom of DC trying to catch up with Marvel, I think.
I guess. Those poor bastards.
I know, right? It's like they got in too late on the game, and now they're trying desperately to throw everything they can at it just to keep up.
Yeah.
And that sucks. Because I like DC.
Yeah. I am admittedly more of a Marvel person, but I'm more of a comics person than a Marvel or DC person.
Right.
Just putting it that way. Let's see. There's a few things that I liked. I don't collect too many comics. I just kind of read stuff that's there. I've read a few Justice League stuff. I like that. But I'm just more for the goofy Marvel, admittedly. But
me, I pretty much I don't go anywhere near the comics. I usually have gone to the cartoon stuff because I think that's where a lot of the things I grew up with shine, like Justice League and Batman and the animated series and Superman the animated series and Spider-Man and all that, like all those things. That was like a huge part of my childhood.
And it just makes me wonder, because this movie clearly seems to be trying to cash in on just pop culture stuff, because they're introducing characters without any context. But it makes me wonder, then, why they didn't try to handle Cyborg a little more correctly, because I'd think in pop culture he'd be more well-known for Teen Titans.
Of course, again, Teen Titans was a huge part of my stuff, but there was nothing, they didn't even show the freaking Sonic cannon.
No, it
was just him.
Just him getting created. I knew who he was, as I'm a huge nerd, but I didn't think he was fully represented correctly.
No.
And that kind of hinders that.
Again, trying to catch up.
Yeah, those poor bastards.
I don't think they even needed to try to catch up.
No.
If they spent their time making good movies about individual characters, then they would have been all right. But then they fell into the fallacy that if they don't do everything right now, then they're going to lose everything.
And I find it fully possible that they might lose everything for this. I mean, Amazing Spider-Man 2, they tried to shove a bunch of shit into it, and it failed.
Exactly, it failed.
Yeah, at the end, they're just like, oh yeah, here's 6 baddies we're gonna have in the next thing. It's gonna be so awesome.
And that's clearly not gonna happen.
No. So, I don't know if we'll just have to see how ticket sales for this go. But
Yeah. Well, we know that it's gonna get somewhere from openings.
yeah,
Because of huge nerds wanting to see this.
of course. But Hollywood depends on how much profit it makes in comparison to Man of Steel,
Right.
as far as Hollywood profits are concerned.
And then we'll see.
Yeah.
But if this somehow does succeed, and I honestly don't know if it should, then if they do, then DC should take a good long look at this and know that it should stick to one thing per movie
Yeah.
instead of trying to cram everything into everything.
I know. Really, learn from Age of Ultron. Learn from
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Amazing Spider-Man 2. Like, it doesn't work trying to cram all this stuff in there. I mean, Avengers, Age of Ultron barely got away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this Amazing Spider-Man 2, it just straight up killed itself.
And remember, I am a fan of Amazing Spider-Man 2, but even I know that it was a really flawed movie.
Yeah. But,
Oh, God. So, is that everything we can talk about without going into spoilers?
I think so.
Alright.
So, fair warning, spoilers are from this point forward. If you want to see the final score, I'll put it in the end, the last 30 seconds of the thing.
So,
like always.
Spoilers. Alright.
Spoilers. You should know by now, if you have just put us in another tab, that we are doing spoilers.
Alright.
This is very clear now. Okay.
Okay, so, last guy they're fighting.
Okay.
Turns out that it's
Doomsday, who's been engineered by Jesse Eisenberg.
From General Zod.
General Zod, who he splashed some of his blood on and ordered the Kryptonian machine to recreate. And that whole thing just opens up a huge bunch of plot holes for me, too. Like, the Kryptonian ship. Like, you'd think people would be hard at work trying to, like, reverse engineer it by now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's been a while.
But I guess since he said that he wanted full access to the ship, he probably just halted it for a little bit.
I guess.
And they probably couldn't get into there because they needed Zod's fingerprints.
Well, you think, like, they would have figured that out pretty fast, though. Like,
They should have. But everyone's either insane or stupid.
Oh, yeah, and by the way, Jesse Eisenberg got the fingerprints by taking them off of Zod's fingers with a little bit of kryptonite, and then, like, put them on his hand and put them on there.
Good thing that fooled advanced Kryptonian technology.
Yeah. I think you could have done the same thing way easier just by cutting off, like, Zod's hand and shoving it on there, but...
He probably could have, but he probably wanted to keep the hand on for, like, either further testing or whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, in the act of preservation. Also, good thing that Kryptonians have fingerprints.
Yeah. didn't know they had that.
But apparently they do, so good.
Yeah. And I was thinking, oh, now he's going in there, so he's going to grab some cool Kryptonian technology. And he goes in there, and they're like, oh, welcome, new owner of ship. Would you like to know our full Kryptonian database? Like, oh, that makes things easy.
Yeah.
And then he decides
hello,
to
random person. Would you like to know everything about everything?
Yeah, and then he's just like, oh, okay, yeah. And then I guess it just gives him the information, including what I get they establish is illegal on Krypton, which is merging DNA of Zod and his blood into
I guess it might be just genetic engineering.
But guess.
Who cares?
But we aren't told what it is, what it's for, what exactly the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
I mean, for instance, like, we see him getting hits.
Right.
Like Doomsday, basically immediately after he's born, he knows exactly what Jesse Eisenberg wants him to do, and just starts beating the shit out of Superman.
No, I thought he was actually trying to kill Jesse Eisenberg because he was going after that, and then Superman flew in and stopped him.
I don't think so.
I thought he did because he was like right in.
No, Superman was like standing next to him already. Remember?
Well, I thought he was behind him.
He was behind him, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that Doomsday was trying to kill Lex Luthor.
No. He said, and this is your Doomsday. And then Doomsday went past him to Superman.
No, he didn't go past him.
I'm pretty sure he did.
No, he was sitting in front of him, and he threw a punch, and Superman flew in front of him.
I don't think so.
He did.
I really don't.
I know this.
No,
he did.
I'm pretty sure he just went right after Superman.
No? I know he flew.
Also, Superman was being a complete idiot during that scene, because it was like... Because he walks in, and it's very audibly saying, like, this will be completed in 15 seconds. And he's just having a casual conversation with Jesse Eisenberg while it counts. Like, that could be a bomb or something. You might want to shut that down.
Okay, but whatever happens in that whole thing, whether who's right or wrong, they fight, and then they figure out that whatever energy you throw into Doomsday, like punches or missiles or shit,
it makes him stronger.
It like throws out this whole energy thing. And by the way, Doomsday looks freaking ugly.
Yeah.
He doesn't look a lot like what he was supposed to look like.
He looks like the Incredible Bulk.
Yeah, he does. Like a gray Incredible Bulk.
The Amazing Bulk, that's what
Amazing Bulk, yeah.
Like his face is all ugly and stuff, and...
Like, he kind of grows the bones later, but not nearly enough.
Yeah. Well, really, that is Doomsday. Like, the more you beat him up, the stronger he gets.
Yeah. And apparently they never figure that out, even when they do.
Yeah, well, they gotta fight him so they can get the kryptonite weapons to stop him.
Yeah.
But, oh, yeah, well, a bit I kind of like Superman initially starts fighting him, and then he's kind of like, oh, yeah, Man of Steel. People didn't like that. So he takes him up into space.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like. That
was good.
That was pretty fun. And then then everyone decides to nuke them.
For some reason.
Oh, to stop them. Which I also got like. I was like, oh, is he going to turn into Nuclear Man? Honestly, this movie's so stupid, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
It did remind me of, like, Superman 4 in a few ways as well.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah,
if he did turn into Nuclear Man, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, and for some reason, like, Doomsday falls to the Earth and Superman stays in space.
Yeah, it blows up both of them, and then Doomsday falls to the ground, and he's like, oh, yeah! And grows spines and stuff. And
yeah.
Like, yeah.
But then, for some reason, Superman's unconscious in space.
He's unconscious, and then the sun heals his face.
So, good. That accomplished something.
He had a bone fix for a little bit, and then he came down and starts punching people again.
Yeah, so that accomplished a lot.
Yep. Oh, and the funny thing is, like, despite that whole thing of, like, leading them away from the city and stuff that they were doing, and throughout this movie I did notice that they seemed to be purposely trying to minimize how many people were dying.
Oh yeah, because I remember a thing. It's like, good thing it's downtown. It's the end of the shift because it's almost entirely empty.
Yeah. Too bad it's Sunday. There would be more people to kill tomorrow.
God, that was stupid.
Yeah, it was. And also when Doomsday landed, he was like, "Oh, he's on this island just off in the metropolis. It's uninhabited." You know what? I didn't like that particular part in Man of Steel. I think he should have tried harder to get him out of a populated area, but, this is even sillier.
Yes. This is a lot sillier.
Yeah.
And then after that happens, I'm pretty sure Batman is like, oh, I gotta stop him.
So I gotta stop him, so he's like...
So he uses the Batwing to kind of...
Oh yeah, like, because he... Immediately after he decided to befriend Superman, he just kind of threw his sword away like he'd never need it again.
And then, like, Lois Lane dumps it in a well or something.
Yeah, I think. And then he, and so he's like, I gotta get him back to Gotham, that's where the thing is.
Like, why can't you just get that? Just get it and bring it back, it's right there.
Yeah. And then Wonder Woman shows up, she's important.
Yeah.
And then she does nothing of importance. And she just kind of deters him for like a minute, and then they stab him, and he dies.
Well, before using the lasso of truth, once.
But not to make anyone tell the truth.
No, just
a lasso.
Him. Yeah.
Which is so forced.
Yeah.
So, like, honestly, she did nothing of any real importance.
She did not need to be there.
At all.
I
mean, like, including, like, Batman, like, tracing the surveillance thing, she gave that back to him. So she didn't have any real impact on the plot whatsoever.
Yeah, and the movie's worse for it.
I know.
It should have just been Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, Batman versus Superman, and then at the end they team up against somebody.
Yeah.
Something less stupid.
Yeah.
Like maybe Lex Luthor wants to take over the world and steal all of its ice cream. I don't know. Like that would be a little less
steals
stupid.
a bunch of cakes, and that's terrible.
No. He stole my he stole my Hostess fruit pies.
And then you have to solve it by giving him more Hostess fruit pies.
Yes. It's the true deterrent to crime.
Well, if they wanted to use Lex Luthor as a thing, why couldn't he just use some Kryptonian technology and build a super suit like Batman?
Yeah. I mean, like...
That way you wouldn't ruin Doomsday.
I know! And, like, hell, you could have given him, like, you know, that really iconic battle armor?
Yeah, with the green stuff, and it could be powered by kryptonite.
I know that that's, like, forged with metals from Apocalypse, but whatever. This is a new, totally different movie.
Yeah.
Like, Doomsday is Kryptonian now. Like, the totally different movie.
Yeah.
So, what would you care? It would make a little more sense. It would be more concise.
Yeah. And you could save Doomsday for better writers.
Yeah. Speaking of Apocalypse, though...
Oh, God. Okay, go ahead.
They heavily hinted that the next movie is going to involve... Darkseid.
Darkseid.
This movie's barely ready for Kite Man.
Yeah.
It does not need Darkseid.
No. Oh yeah, and then during the Battle of Doomsday, Superman died.
Oh yeah. Oh, and that was a special insult. Like, I'm a big fan of the of the Death of Superman series.
Yeah.
I don't know if you...
I myself haven't read it.
Yeah, I've read it. It's really, like, well done. Of course, like, you know, because it's DC, of course everyone's gonna come back to life. And that's pretty much a comics thing, although I have to say Marvel sometimes sticks to it, sometimes.
Yeah,
DC
but for
never
DC
does.
never does.
Never. But, you know, I was just enjoying it for what it was, and it was really concise. I like all the some of the speeches Pa Kent did about it and stuff, and you know, it just gave... Especially once, like, the 4 Superman clones or whatever.
Yeah, well, they're not clones, they're like just replacements. Well, I think one of them is a clone, but the other one's a robot and some shit. Yeah, when the 4 Superman replacements came in, like, you honestly thought it was Superman just because of the build-up and how well it was presented. And this, no, he's in his coffin and then suddenly grains of dirt rise up for a split second and it cuts to black. And I was just like... even though I knew as soon as he died, I was thinking constantly... When is he going to come back? When is he going to come back?
Yep.
Because I knew it's the second movie, guys. You don't kill Superman in the second movie.
Of course not. Jesus. It's giving me freaking Star Trek Into Darkness syndrome here. Where like somebody dies and they, like, Captain Kirk dies and they immediately bring him back.
Yeah.
Death has no consequence, everybody.
Again, they're trying to throw everything in this.
Everything. God. You know, it's gotta have been a nightmare to handle. I mean, like, because they show that there are 2 different funerals going on. Yeah. Like, a big state funeral.
For Superman, and then a small local one for Clark Kent.
Yeah, but if the dirt was hovering off of Clark Kent's one, then that means they got his actual body for Clark Kent.
No, they did, because you saw him in the suit. You saw his body in the suit at the Kent home. When they were holding the wig.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just closed casket the whole time.
No, well, it might have... No, you saw the suit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just wondering how that handled. Like, did they just get his body out of there really fast? I mean, I think the media would want, like, definite proof that he's dead.
Yeah. And maybe they just left the fucking suit there.
Maybe. Like, he's a witch, he evaporates.
Yeah. Well, there was that huge energy thing. Okay, he might have died from that.
I guess.
Yeah, it's like, but people are stupid in this universe anyway. So.
I guess. Like, there's also a newspaper article that says that Clark Kent died in the battle or something.
Yeah.
And I could accept that. But I was honestly thinking, like, realistically, including in the Death of Superman, like, his actual body was put inside of a monument. And it was a false one that was given to the Kents because his body couldn't be recovered.
Yeah.
Like, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, it does.
And then, of course, somebody drills into Superman's tomb to get some of his DNA and blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. But that's comics.
Yeah, it's comics. And God, the funeral scene for Superman low, you see all the Justice League people, like, marching. It's so powerful. God, this movie makes me want to read those comics again, because they are way better than anything this movie has to offer.
God. This movie was just such a disappointment on every single level.
Yeah. I was completely apathetic about it, and I'm disappointed.
I was numb. I was numb throughout the whole movie. I wanted to like this movie. I really did. I don't go into movies wanting to hate them. I
didn't go into this movie wanting to hate it. I was expecting just apathy.
I was expecting to not like it, but I didn't want to. I was rooting for this movie, and it just couldn't. It just couldn't. Man. It was just too bad.
This movie's very sad to watch.
But not for any of the reasons that it wants to be.
I know. Just a huge, huge waste.
A huge waste of potential.
2 hours and 20 minutes gives you nothing.
No. God.
Oh, man. I mean, if the entire movie was like that opening scene, maybe, for, like, establishing Batman's background, then this movie would have been very mediocre. But it still would have been better than what we had.
It would have been. Because then it would have just been Batman and Superman.
Yeah, pretty much.
And everyone else. And everything else.
Yeah. So, I didn't find that opening particularly creative or anything. It was just...
It served its purpose.
Served its purpose. If that was all the movie was, it would be much better movie.
It would have been.
And that's kind of sad, when bland would be better than what they went for.
Mm.
Oh, jeez.
Overall, this movie, overall, it's just a big disappointment.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I might be jumping the gun a bit, but I think I might have found a movie that is going lower on the continuing list of best to worst than The Revenant.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'll have to put a little bit of thought into it. I don't update the list until a couple days after I see a movie, just to give me some time to think it over, but, yeah!
Well, at least I wasn't angry at it.
No, it was, like, Man of Steel I was a little angry at because I had expectations.
Yeah. But I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed.
Just disappointed.
And that's worse.
Yeah. It's pretty bad, guys, like... Just like Amazing Spider-Man 2 for me. I mean, I was Amazing Spider-Man, the first one's big defender of it. Mm-hmm. Amazing Spider-Man 2 let me down. You did the same to Alex movie.
Yeah, you did the same to me, man. You ruined me.
You ruined him. He was a supporter, man.
I wanted to believe. I just wanted to believe it, but you couldn't let me believe it.
Wouldn't let him believe, man. It's bullshit, man.
The dream is dead.
The dream is dead, man.
I can only hope that the Aquaman movie is going to be good.
Please make an Aquaman movie.
Please.
And, like, a competent Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah.
Will it be like a Wonder Woman prequel? Like, establishing some sort of background? Are we going to have to watch all these other movies in order to get what this movie's about? Are they doing reverse Avengers?
Oh, God. That's worse.
Reverse Avengers. The Avengers has just come out. Stay tuned for Iron Man.
Oh God, that'd be bad.
That would be.
But yeah, Wonder Woman has this rich backstory. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Wonder Woman. All I know is from like Justice League and all that stuff.
I know.
But I know that there's a lot there.
And for for this movie, purely trying to like run on pop culture, which isn't that strong, it gave us nothing. And Wonder Woman she's a pop culture icon, but more for her image than for her backstory. I mean, I don't know how many people you could ask on the street who would know exactly the backstory of Wonder Woman, or even really her power set.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to give her a fair shake.
I know. Yeah. And of course, like, some studio executive somewhere is going to say, oh, they don't like this movie because they don't like female superheroes.
Exactly. It's gonna suck.
Yeah, that was the excuse they used for Elektra as well. And it was just because it was a bad movie.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with that. You know, like the first Daredevil movie, it was also kind of a bad movie.
It was a bad movie.
Yeah, so, like, nothing to do with that.
And it had that god-awful song.
Oh.
Wake me up.
Wake me up inside!
Can't wake up.
Wake me up!
Oh God.
Jesus.
Uh,
Oh man.
this movie didn't wake me up inside.
No. People applauded this at the end, man.
They did.
They applauded. They also applauded Miracles from Heaven, though, so I guess it really doesn't mean anything.
No, it doesn't.
Although, I guess maybe the people who applauded were applauding for similar reasons, because it was about a certain subject that they idolize and really can't see the flaws in.
Whoa, that's deep.
I know.
Okay, I'm pretty sure we've exhausted everything we could talk about in this movie.
This movie sucks.
It sucks.
Okay. This is gonna be the last movie Alex is gonna see with me.
Yeah, I'm gonna
here.
be flying out this Sunday.
Yeah, it's kind of poetic, honestly. I mean, like, with Man of Steel was the last movie, I thought would be the last movie I would ever see with Alex and the guys, before I went to New Zealand forever. And it turned out to be wrong. And
Yeah.
of course, its sequel is the last movie I'm seeing with Alex up here in Portland. Maybe the last ever I'll see up here with Alex in Portland, but you never know.
You never know.
The future is what you make of it. Back to the Future Free, another better movie than this movie.
Alright. So, hopefully the next movie is going to be better.
Yeah,
If there is a next movie.
if there is. And until next time, I'm Glenn Dyer, and you have been watching A Dyer-Situation.